to sing dirty raps to my east side.
If I'm playing too short, I got to be talking about the Bay Area. And I got to be talking about how Stanford put a good old whooping on UCLA this weekend. Uh, yeah, what can I say about it? Stanford did what I thought they were going to do. UCLA couldn't respond to how physical Stanford was. And I'm not surprised. So I'm not really going to go into deep analysis because the team's playing it on Friday, and that's what I'd rather talk about. But basically, what I saw that I didn't like about it was that Stanford forced turnovers. They stopped UCLA's run game. They forced UCLA to beat them on the pass. And they did all that. They beat them in every way of the game. I think the play that to me summarized it was Stanford scored a touchdown, and on the ensuing kick return, UCLA fumbles the ball after a good hit, and Stanford takes it right back for a touchdown on that play. So 2 touchdowns in about 30 seconds of game time. That says it all right there. So Stanford just did what they were supposed to do. That's why they're number 8 in the nation, unless they moved up. I hope I'm wrong on that. Let me just quickly double check. But that's why Stanford is ranked where they are, because they are that good. Now UCLA needs to. Oh, I want to address one thing. There are going to be those who think that UCLA tanked that game to get ready for next week. People are going to say that. LA Times columnist T.J. Simers pretty much suggested that, hitting it in his I don't even know if I can call it a question to Jim Moore, but he questioned that. I found that to be very offensive because I think for UCLA, like Jim Moore said in that interview, they're trying to build a winning program. You can't build a winning program at UCLA and tank games or not show your full deck of cards. That's the last game that might be the last game at the Rose Bowl for those guys. There's nothing guaranteed. They have to go out and play well. So I don't buy that at all. And yes, Stanford is ranked number 8 still. So, yeah. So they just got beat. They got beat. They didn't blow the game or whatever. They just got beat. So let's look about what they got to do to beat Stanford this week. 5 things they got to do. 1, they need to limit their mistakes. They cannot turn the ball over. They cannot drop passes. They cannot focus on not doing the little things that they should be doing, because that's how Stanford wins. Stanford is a very disciplined, good team. You have to play perfect ball to beat them. You have to stick to your game plan, and if you don't, bad things happen. Number 2, Stanford's got to pass the ball. Force Stanford to pass the ball. Stanford ran over UCLA like it was nobody's business. Stephon Taylor had 100 yards by halftime, finished with 140-something yards. They're going to probably pound the ball and do that. So what UCLA has to do is load up the box, force Stanford to try and pass the ball more often, or just limit their mistakes, I think. But they got to definitely force Stanford to pass the ball more often. Number 3, and this probably is the most important one, I think. Brett Hundley they got to protect Brett Hundley. Brett Hundley got sacked 7 times. Some of those sacks were his fault for holding on to the ball too much. But they need to protect him, and no matter what. In the same breath, Brett Hundley has to do a better job of running with the ball. He only had 8 carries in the game on Saturday. And I think as tough as that is for saying how great Stanford's defense was, he's got to say, okay, if things are open, he's got to just take off and run. Because that's going to throw Stanford off a little bit. It's going to open up the passing game a little bit more. And, he's the equalizer. He's the X factor in this game. If he plays well, UCLA is going to win. If he doesn't play well, UCLA is going to lose. Simple as that. So he has to pretty much determine how far UCLA goes as far as keeping plays alive, doing certain things like that. So I think that's the key thing is Brett Hundley has to play better, and he has to be able to use his legs as well as his arm. So aside from that, I'm trying to make sure I get the light right on here so I don't look too dark. So aside from that, that's pretty much all I'm going to say about UCLA, because Friday, they're back in the Pac-12 championship. They go up to Stanford, and they got a chance to play better than they did this time around. And to be fair, they didn't really play that much worse. I mean, Stanford beat them, but they didn't play that bad. They just have to play better. And the good thing about watching a team that, it's hard to beat a team twice. The good thing about playing them so soon is that you get to learn from your mistakes. The bad news is they got a formula for beating you, and they're going to stick to it. So that's pretty much what I got to say. Not really a good week at UCLA because UCLA lost to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo on Sunday night. Ouch. Yeah. That happened. That did happen. And now UCLA is unranked in the AP Top 25. So, bad week in Westwood. Bad week in Westwood after last week being such a great week. But that's how it works, I guess. Karma comes back around to get you. So, all I can say is, let's look forward to Friday. Let's get ready. And we'll see what happens. And if all goes well, I'm going to be playing this song when it's all said and done. Peace.